2 days was ago. I just give him a lot of credit. You know, it's funny. Today is Monday, right? Yeah, I'll joke aside. Today's Monday. So yesterday at this time, I mean, we were just getting ready to play the 49ers, which when you think about it, that game seems like it was forever ago. So yesterday at this time, we were getting ready to play the Niners, and we've already played the 49ers and the Dolphins. So a lot of credit to our players. I mean, those are the ones playing the game and how physical they played in those two games. Those were two really physical games. I thought we played hard. I thought we hit. I thought we got off blocks. I thought we tackled. And I thought we gave everything we had. So for those guys to do that twice within the week, I have a ton of respect for them and give them a lot of credit. And then to recover and be able to get ready to do it again, those are the guys that deserve all the credit. So they're doing great. You know, their spirits are high. Their practices have been really good. I mean, we were a little bit more of a jog-through pace a day ago, and today we ramped it up. And they're into it. They're locked in. They're communicating. They're having fun, and they're really working hard. And I give them a lot of credit, and I really appreciate them for that.
Jeff, last time, they didn't have Jameson Williams, right, when you played him last time?
That's right.
Obviously, they're good regardless, but his speed, what element does that add, and how much harder does that make them?
Just like you would think. I mean, they've got really good players, so whether they have them or not, they're still a really good offense, and are very explosive, you know, with the run backs, the tight end. There are other wide receivers, and they're really good up front. But he's an explosive guy. I mean, he can really stretch the field, and he can get the ball in his hands on the perimeter and turn them into big plays, you know, just like a lot of their other guys, kind of like the guys we just played. So he was actually at Ohio State the 1 year I was there, and I remember, you know, we had a couple of high draft picks on defense, and I remember a couple of times you ran by him, and I mean, I was like, that guy's going to be a special player, and he is. So he's a dangerous guy when he gets the ball in his hand.
They have so many guys injured on defense. So do you expect them offensively to be more aggressive, set up more fourth downs, or does that not play a role? Do you look at any of that?
I don't know. I think they have a certain play style, and I think they'll probably stick to it. That's, you know, it's a better question for them than for me to kind of guess as to what they're going to do. You know, I was with their defensive coordinator. Me and him were DB coaches in Cleveland together, Aaron Glenn. I know he does a really good job. Great guy, great coach. He was an unbelievable player. But he has a certain, you know, scheme that he likes, and I'm guessing they'll stick to it. There are a lot of guys that have injuries around the league right now, and, you know, that's a part of it, and I'm sure they got guys ready to step up.
Hey Jeff, over the weekend I had asked Matt about Isaiah and kind of how he performed on Thursday. He mentioned going out of the San Francisco game, he wasn't even sure if he was going to be able to go or not and make that turn. Just what did you think of, you know, the way he performed and being able to, you know, go from being estimated as a non-participant to a guy that played as many snaps and was as impactful as he was?
Yeah, I mean, I'm glad you asked that. I get like the chills like thinking about you asking me that question, because the last time we were in here, so we asked why he missed a play, right? Because he was running out of the tunnel because he was trying to get healthy to play in the game. And I really didn't want to get into it because, you know, for the obvious reasons for the next opponent. But we didn't know if he'd come out in that half, and he missed one play. And he finished the game against the Niners, and then he didn't do anything all week, and we didn't even know he was going to play. I mean, you want to talk about tough? I mean, that guy, yeah. I mean, you got to give him so much credit for how much he cares about this team, for how badly he wants to play football, for on a short week to get his body ready to play in that game. I mean, that guy's what's right about football. I mean, that's incredible what he was able to do, and then the way he played. I mean, that guy had some huge plays in the game. The breakup before the fourth down stop in the 2-minute drive, the tackle he made after that on the sideline. I mean, he played about as physical and aggressive as you could imagine. I mean, and he definitely wasn't 100%. And there's a lot of guys that, you know, might not even played on a short week. You talk about these guys going through it. I mean, talk about what's right about, you know, the sport. You know, I love that guy.
I have two questions. Do you want the good energy or the bad energy one first?
You know what? You're wearing he feels good. And he's wearing a Syracuse jacket today. The big win for his Syracuse. He's showing off, and now he's just shooting questions. So go ahead. Whatever one you want.
I'll go bad first.
That's fine.
You guys lead the league in offsides, neutral zone, and encroachment penalties. Matt said the other day that lining up in the neutral zone is going to kill you guys. how many more coaching points are there to get that right, and how difficult is it to time up a snap count correct?
Well, it's infuriating. I mean, you want to talk about just giving away free yards and free plays. I mean, you know how hard it is to get somebody stopped on 3rd and 4th down? I mean, we had 2 red zone stops last week because we stopped them. They were going to go for a field goal. We jumped on a field goal, and then we stopped them again. I mean, you go back to the last Lions game. We had a 4-point swing. We had them stopped, and we jumped off sides on the same deal. Like, that can't happen. I mean, it can't. It's like to me, pre-snap and post-snap penalties are totally inexcusable. I mean, you're just giving away free yards and free plays, and it can't happen. And it's being addressed, and it's not okay, and we have to do something about it. But that's not a bad energy question. That's a real question, and it has to stop. But we got to clean those up. You know, when a guy's playing, like, if a DB's playing hard and he fouls a guy down the field, and, you know, that happens sometimes, like within the course of a play. But if you're lining up offside, or if it's a critical 3rd down and 4 to 5 or 4th and 4 to 5, and pretty much everyone knows we're going to try to draw, so we have to do better there. We have to. So that's next question.
We talked last week about Quay kind of playing his best ball now. Do you feel the same with Van Ness after the last couple games as well?
I do, and I think there's a lot of guys starting to hit that stride. I think guys are gaining confidence in themselves. They're gaining confidence in the scheme because they know what they're doing, and they're getting more confidence in what they're doing. And when you have cumulative reps over time, that usually happens. And I think Quay's a prime example where a lot of you guys kind of asked me, and it was like he's going to be okay. And he's playing his best football, and I still think he's going to get even better because I have that high expectations for him because I think he's that talented, and you're starting to see it. And if you guys were to watch him at practice right now, he's practicing with a whole different level of confidence, and you can hear it. Just how loud he is when he's communicating, how he's bending, how he's lining up, how he's moving around. And Van Ness is doing the same thing. And it's just, you know, I appreciate the patience, but it's a matter of time before these guys in year one with new techniques and new system and new calls are getting more comfortable. And the whole goal is to play better and better each week, where the last game of the year we're playing is as good football as we have. And that's what he's doing right now. And I'm proud of him because it's hard. I mean, and he didn't lose his confidence, but there's moments it's like this because he's got high expectations from outside and from inside. And, you know, you could see early on, you could see that waning on him a little bit, but he should be confident right now because he's playing good football. And I expect a lot out of him too, and I'm excited to see what he can do in these last, you know, this week for sure.
Jeff, speaking of Quay, you know, we talked to him after the game, and he was, I don't know if I've ever had a player in all the time doing this talk the way he did about how hard he is on himself and how it affects him. As a coach, it's your job, obviously, to teach fundamentals and the scheme and everything else, but has that been a work for you as a coach to try and get him to understand how good he's capable of being and how maybe letting things go would help him be a better player? Is that part of your job?
Absolutely. I mean, I think that's our job as coaches, maybe as much as teaching the fundamentals and technique. I mean, and that's why over time you develop relationships with these guys. And when you see him having a hard day, it's our job not to ignore it and beat him down. It's our job to pick him up. And while probably the whole outside world was beating him up, we were picking him up and showing him how good he can be and how good he's gonna be, and to keep believing and keep pushing forward, which is why I made the point that I made the other day. Like, and I don't even remember what game it is now because I feel like, you know, we played so many, but the one game he didn't play real well. He didn't play well, the Bears game. And what did he do? He came back and played one of his best games he's played. And that's probably what I was most proud of. And then what did he do? He probably played better last week than he played the week before. And now he's gaining that confidence, and he is hard on himself. And most great players are hard on themselves. But it is our job when a guy's going through it and people are, you know, pointing fingers at him. That's when we got to pick guys up. You know, it's easy if everybody's talking about how great you are, and we got to kind of bring them back down. I mean, and show them that they could be even better so they don't start believing the hype. But our job's also to help those guys out, you know? So definitely, that's a good question.
The other day, Lions and Bears, I think it's second half, Lions are in the red zone, and Goff fakes a pitch off to the left, and Laporta releases like off left tackle area is like wide open, flips him a touchdown. When you see that play, when you discuss that play with your players, is that like Ben Johnson's going to show you this eye candy before you? How do you prevent that?
Well, I think that happens all the time, especially as you get closer to the red zone. The tighter you get in the red zone, the better your eyes have to be. I mean, that's football in general. There's so much misdirection the closer you get from all these teams we play. Last week, the week before, this week. So your eye discipline and where your eyes are and keeping your eyes on your work. I mean, the moment if I'm supposed to be looking over here at this Syracuse jacket and I get my eyes over here, it's a touchdown because something's dangling out over here and now all of a sudden he throws it over there. Or keep your eyes over here where they're supposed to be, right? And that's hard sometimes, you know. And he does a good job with that.
Two more, please.
Where do you think your run defense is right now, and in what ways has it gotten? But I mean, I understand that the games were a little bit different. Maybe they didn't run as much, but McCaffrey didn't do anything, and neither did Miami. How much has that grown and improved, and in what ways?
Well, I think it starts up front. Our D-line's doing such a good job of staying square, using their hands, getting off blocks. Guys aren't just running up the field. I think our linebackers have a better feel for where they're supposed to be within the scheme and with the D-lineman, and it's all kind of starting to work together. I think we're setting edges way better. So I think the fundamentals of technique, I think understanding the system, and then I think the play style. I think we're playing harder and harder each week, and I think that's how you play good defense. You know, we talk about takeaways, we talk about effort, we talk about fundamentals and technique. The interior part of our D-line has done such a good job these last few games. They really have. They're hard to block, they're staying in their gaps, they're tearing off of blocks, and it's the same thing with those defensive ends. They're setting edges, they're forcing the ball back inside, they're getting off blocks, and then we're tackling, and we're running to the ball. And there's multiple people to the ball. And when you turn on our tape right now and you freeze it, you see that. You see a lot of guys around the football. And then you're not afraid, right? Like if I have an open field tackle and I know 8 other guys are coming, I'm going to take my shot because I know if I miss, it's going to be bang, bang, bang. We've got 3 or 4 other guys there, and we're starting to play faster. I think the run defense the last few weeks has been really good. I do still think there's room for improvement because it's like -1, 1 yard gain, -2, 1 yard gain, and then we'll do something that we're just a little off, it'll be like a 15, 20 yard gain. Even in the last game when they only had 40 yards rushing, you know, we let the one out where, you know, it's disappointing. But that's football. They're going to make some plays too, but I still think there's room for improvement and we can clean some stuff up.
How do you get them, what's your strategy in tackling a guy like Montgomery? Because it's got to be sort of like other teams have to do with Josh Jacobs. Is there, you know, a way you can approach? You said take your shot, but...
Yeah, I mean, I think anytime you play a big back, and we've played a lot of them, and obviously he runs really hard, and I think he's a great player. Each week there's a tackling plan on how you tackle some of these guys. The bigger backs, you want to kill their legs. You know, you want to stop their legs, obviously. You stop the legs, you stop the guy from running. And some guys you want to tackle lower, and you have to go lower on certain guys. But there's definitely a plan when you have to go in against bigger backs. But he's a guy you got to get multiple people around because he's gonna try to run through contact and he's gonna break tackles just like our guy does.
When teams are when they push the pile, let's say you kind of have a guy tackled at the 5, and they're pushing him in. Are there any techniques, anything to do other than just try to push back?
Yeah, you get every one of your guys and you drive it back 5 yards and you don't let that happen. Like that can't happen. I never want to see that on tape. Neither do our guys. If that thing starts going back, there better be 11 of our guys driving it back 5 yards, and the ref should have to stop the play. Period.